All right, guys. So what's up? Look, I don't know if you guys remember, but like 6 months ago, I said that I was going to be building a new PC. I said it during my Moab with Every Gun series. It was for the G36C on the Wii, and I said that because I'm like taking YouTube more seriously now, and I want to like do my motion blur and stuff, and that takes a long time to render. I said that by building a new PC, I'll be able to get that stuff done so much quicker. At the same time, my brother was also starting a whole bunch of new video projects, and the computer he was using was just so slow. So we decided to go halves in building this new PC. And at the end of it all, it cost us something like $2,000, but it was hell worth it for sure. And so I thought what I'd do is I'd like make a video a bit about the just to share with you guys like a bit about the computer and the specs and stuff, and give you guys like a video slideshow. So here it is. Look, so in this first video, in this first photo, it's just showing you like how big the case is relative to like the Wii. It's a massive case. I'll put like all the description of all the stats and stuff of like the specs and everything in the description of the video. But basically it's got two CPUs in there, and I needed to get an extra large motherboard because of that. And the only case that would fit it was like a few cases on the market, and this is the one I eventually decided on. It's a massive case. And I've put the Wii there just to give you guys like an idea of sort of in reference sort of how big it is compared to the Wii. But you can see it's massive. It's almost as tall as my desk, which you can see there as well. So it's a huge case. It's called the Xigmatek Elysium, and it's like one of the best cases I've ever seen. It's so awesome because it's like a huge amount of space gives you so much like room to work when you're actually like building the PC up and like putting stuff in, and that comes in handy a lot. So I'll move on to the next image, and that shows you the three fans on the top. It's got mounts there for three 140 mil fans, and those are three 140 mil fans. And the other cool thing about it is if you look at the on the right hand side there, you've got the power button, which is that big silver square. You've also got two external USB 3 ports there, as well as two external USB 2 ports and an eSATA, which is awesome. But the main feature, I think, is just to the left of those, you've got that little bay there that you can see. And what that is basically like a bay where I can get a hard drive, like any SATA hard drive, whether it be like a laptop drive or an actual computer hard drive. And I can just plug that hard drive straight in. I don't have to take the whole like case, side off and plug it all up with cables and stuff. None of that. I just grab the hard drive, plug it in, and bam, done. It's recognized, and it's simple as that. And then when I'm finished with it, I can just unplug it and away you go. So it's really, really handy to have that. I've already used it like a few times, and it's awesome. Okay, so in this photo, basically this is just the case side, the case with the side off, and that's just showing you all the internals. Now, look, I know all the cable mess is crazy. I haven't bothered to like clean it up. The way I see it, the computer's running like quietly and it's running cool, so I don't have to worry too much about the cable mess. And it's a huge case, so I don't really care too much if there's a bit of cable in the way. I can easily get my hands in and change stuff if I have to. So I got a friend that comes over, and every time he comes over and has a look inside the case, he's like, "Oh man, that's disgusting. I've got to do something about it." While you're not noticing, I'm gonna like take the case away and I'm gonna like fix it all up and then put it back before you like turn around. It's a bit of a joke. He just hates to see all the cable mess. But personally, I just don't care at all. Like seriously, I care about how the computer works. I don't care how it looks. But anyway, look, a few of the features here. Basically, you can see the three fans on the top again, but there's also a 140 mil fan pushing air out the back. Um, I've also got a GTX 460 video card that's slotted in there, and it's not the best of cards, but like a year and a half or so ago, it was a pretty decent card, and it'll play everything I want to play. But I don't really use this system for like gaming anyway. It's mainly for like video creation, so the video card barely gets used, to be honest. You can also see these two big silver things there. I'll be showing you another photo later on that sort of zooms in on those, but basically those are two heat sinks. They're like sitting directly on top of the CPUs, and I've got two 6-core Intel Xeons in there at the moment, and each heatsink has two fans. So you've got the fan on the bottom and the fan on the top, and basically they're set up in a push-pull configuration. So basically you've got one fan pushing cool air in, and the other one is like taking the cool air that's now turned hot as it passes through the heatsink, and it's blowing that air out toward the top of the case, which then gets taken out of the case by those three fans at the very top, the red ones. So each heatsink has that, and that configuration really gives me the ability to keep those CPUs cool. And you can imagine 6 core CPUs running at full load and overclocked can get quite warm. But other than that, you've got the power supply in the bottom left, which I had to upgrade as well when I built the new system, because I was gonna use a 600-watt power supply, but I didn't think that it would be enough like grunt, for the system when it's under full load, especially if I've got like those two CPUs working at full load, like doing a video or something. So yeah, other than that, that's about it. There's also some RAM in there, but I'll zoom in later on those as well. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is just showing your the two the CD drive bays and the hard drive bays. So you can see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6 as well. 5 or 6 bays there for DVD drives and stuff. I've just got a single Blu-ray drive in there at the moment. And then there's the hard drive racks at the bottom, and I've got one SSD in there at the moment, and 2 3TB hard drives and one 1TB hard drive. In front of those hard drives, which you can't actually see in this photo, there's actually 2 fans, one sort of around the center and then one at the bottom, and that's just to blow some cool air over those hard drives, because those hard drives get worked a lot, especially with video editing and stuff. You're always like creating and editing large files, so they do get quite warm. That's why I put those fans there, but you can't see them unfortunately. But there are 2 fans there as well, and they're 120mm fans, 2 of them. Okay, so moving on. Now, this is a really cool feature of the motherboard. It's a little LED display that shows the actual real-time temperature of the CPUs. As the temperature of the CPUs change, though that little LED light actually changes to reflect the real temperature of those CPUs. It's pretty cool. I've actually used it, and it's come in handy a few times, because I've known that by looking at that little LED light, I've known that perhaps one of my encodes are finished. I don't have to actually look over to the CPU, to the computer screen. I can just be sitting back playing my Wii U and just glance over every now and then and look at the temperature. And when I see that the temperature's dropped, I know that the encode's finished. So I can go over and actually change, set up the next encode or whatever. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little feature. Okay, now here's the photo I was telling you about where I zoom in. It shows the heat sinks a bit more clearly. You can see that they're quite large. They've got heat pipes as well. So what that means is that basically I have the heat pipes touching directly the back of the CPU, so that the heat can get transferred straight off the CPU into the heatsink, and then gets taken out of the system. So the CPUs can stay really cool, and it's actually really, really good. It works really well. These heat sinks were actually quite cheap as well. They're only like $40 each. I think they're the Hyper 212 Plus, if you're interested in what they're actually called. I think I'll have it in the description below. Well, I won't. I don't think I will. I will have it in the description below for you guys in case you're interested in buying some of them. But they're really, really awesome. You can also see there that you've got the RAM. I've actually got 12 gig for each CPU for a total of 24 gig of RAM. And yeah, it's just standard DDR3 RAM. It's nothing special anyway. Again, this system is mainly used for encoding. And really, when it comes to encoding, the speed of the RAM isn't important. What's important is the amount of RAM you've got. So that's why I've gone all out and filled up those bays with 24 gig of RAM. And yeah, so that basically brings us back to the first photo. Another thing to note here, I've actually got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fans in the case. That's including the fans that are on the CPUs. And what's interesting is that all of those fans are really big, quiet fans. And when this system is on and under full load, actually, there's actually 11 fans if I count that small one that's on the motherboard. But when the whole system is under full load, it doesn't actually get much louder than probably an Xbox 360. It's probably about the same noise level as an Xbox 360. Not playing a game, so just sitting there on the dashboard. So it's actually really, really quiet as well. So it's powerful, it's quiet, and it runs really cool. So it's the best of the best of the best. It's awesome. All right, guys, so I pretty much covered everything. Look, if you got any questions, just leave it below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like. Enjoy your Christmas, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys again soon.